So I'm just going to add a little bit of nutmeg. Some cinnamon. And about a cup of brown sugar. We're going to just stir this in really quick. And then from there, we're just going to let it simmer. And I did start off with about a stick and a half of butter. And we're going to do this on about medium heat. We are going to preheat to about 365. Now my peaches are cooked down. We have a nice sauce here. So from here, we're going to turn our oven off for a second. And I let this rest for a little while before I go ahead and transfer it over into the pan. Now I'm just going to butter my dish here. Alright, now I'm just going to start taking my peaches and just putting them over. You can pour them. Now I'm just coming in and I'm just making my loops. Okay, now we'll get it in the oven. First container. We have a full day today, and the first thing I wanted to start off by doing was I wanted to come in, get the table cleaned down, and I wanted to get this arrangement in its place. And I'm super excited about the arrangement here, and I cannot wait until the hyacinth bloom and you see this beautiful blue and white container here with the moss in the understory here, and I cannot wait for that. Now we do have another area in this room that is completely dusty from the door being open and just me sweeping and everything. And if you have a flower shed, a she shed, a greenhouse, a plant room, that is going to be your number one thing that you're going to deal with, besides the spiders, is dust. Because if you're planting in that space or if you're breaking down containers in that space, the dust particles are going to get everywhere. So there's another area in this room while our peach cobbler is on the inside of the oven that I want to go ahead and get cleaned up. I'm going to be making a peach cobbler today. I'm super excited. I love, love, love peach cobbler. And my recipe for peach cobbler is simple, it's easy, and I just got word that I have a family member that's going to be popping up. And so anytime I have a guest that's in my home, I like to present them with something. So most often, some type of tea, some type of coffee. If you're not a coffee drinker, if you're not a tea drinker, I'm going to have some type of refreshment for you. So we'll have peach cobbler and probably tea, maybe coffee. Have two pies here. One is if you don't like as much crust, and this one right here is if you like a lot of crust. So I love a lot of crust, so this one is going to be more for me, and this one right here is going to be more for some of the other members in my family because it's light on the crust and heavy on the peaches. I have been through every single cabinet, every single nook and cranny looking for this silver vase that I used for an arrangement in 2022. And then I got to thinking about it. I never got my silver vase back. Now, my vase was supposed to be brought back to me, but that never happened. Of course, you want to give the arrangement time to deteriorate in the vase. And then as that time goes on, you're like, okay, where's my vase? Where's my vase? Where's my vase? Well, the loved one that I made the arrangement for has since passed away. And of course, all of her belongings were moved out of her home, and I never got my vase back. So I started calling around and, hey, do you have this vase? I need it, this, that, and the third. Now, granted, the person that I'm calling is the person who was supposed to bring my vase back to me in the first place, right? And who was over the estate, so which should have known like where the belongings went in the house. But you guys, I cannot get my silver pitcher back. So that's one more piece that I've lost from the collection. And what I'm going to do in order to mitigate this, because this is not the first time that this has happened, I am no longer giving my vases out. I'm no longer loaning my vases out, rather, because what I am starting to find is that you just don't get your pieces back. And it's so hard once you come up on a piece. And this was an antique find, you guys. So the fact that it was an antique find, I found it by chance. I was walking through one of my favorite antique malls. They have a lot of silver, but sometimes when you're buying silver, now if there's a collection of silver, I don't want to go in and just take that one piece from the collection. If I find like a full-on collection, I don't want to pull from that and use that as a vase. But since it was just this silver water pitcher, I was like, OMG, this would be perfect for a vase. Absolutely stunning arrangement. And she loved it. I loved it. Delivered it to her. No issues. But now the problem comes in. I do not have my vase. I have an arrangement that I need to put together, and I know the vibe, the feel that I'm going for. I'm very much going for a feel that needs a antique vase, kind of like a Bridgerton vibe, if you will. And certain arrangements, I'm like, okay, I need this in order to make, you know how you just can see already in your head before the arrangement gets done, where you need the arrangement, like what type of vessel will make the arrangement. And I need a antique water pitcher. So we're going to go antiquing. In addition to that, I'm looking for another sideboard table or another chest of drawers, but I want it to be marble top. So that's another thing that I'm looking for, but that's kind of a little bit off in the future. But if I see it, I'll go ahead and, okay, put it in my memory Rolodex of antiques. But the one thing that I am going for is for a antique water pitcher, kind of like the same one that I had. Before we go, I do want to prepare some amaryllis bulbs because I do have a guest coming over, and oftentimes when somebody comes over and they see like your waxed amaryllis bulbs and things of that nature, they're gonna want to take one. And I have several vignettes with different amaryllis bulbs that are done up in glitter and ribbons and bows. And even though it is the end of the Christmas season, the way that I did my amaryllis bulbs with glitter, they still can fit into that room. So the one that has silver, that's very much a room that's pure gray tones, if you will. So it goes right on into the new year. Now, granted, I do still have the baubles on the table. I do still have the candles on the table. And the only reason why I left that up is because in one of the comments, it was like, we want to see this at its finished state. So I'm like, okay, I can do that for you guys, because so often you just get into the flow of changing things out to where you don't follow back up and show. So I left that vignette in place exactly how it was, so I could give the follow-up view of what it was looking like when the amaryllis bulbs bloomed out. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead, we'll prep the amaryllis bulbs real quick. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll be sure to link the video where I go through in detail to tell you, which still is relevant right now today, is evergreen, because your amaryllis, remember, people think about amaryllis just for a Christmas flower, but this is not their only capability. You can continue to have amaryllises in bloom all the way up into the spring, and actually your early spring, and it makes for a beautiful show. Now, we're going to prep the amaryllis bulbs, and then from there, we're going to go antiquing. But before we go, I do want to show you what the amaryllis bulbs look like as a follow-up, so you all can see the full total look, because when we put our blue, white, and red check display out, those were in bloom. It was only one that had already went over. But I talked about, and I've been sharing with you all my techniques on how to get your amaryllis bulbs to bloom quick, fast, and easy. No more waiting 6 to 8 weeks. Nobody's doing that no more, honey. Nobody's doing that anymore. And the faster you can get your amaryllis bulbs to bloom, you cut down on the potential for fungus gnats, red spot, just them not blooming in general. From my experience and my research with your amaryllis bulbs, get them into bloom as quick as possible. And honey, I think I had one come from dormancy all the way up, I want to say 10. Oh, let me show you what this arrangement looks like. Here is the amaryllis bulbs in full 100% complete bloom, and I love it. Totally love it. I mean, look at how bright and cheerful that is. And of course, you can see our princess pine. It ages well because it still holds its color in spite of it being like completely just dried out. I mean, you can just pull off the pine needles at this point because it's so dry. But this is what we're looking like. We'll let these dry out. We have the fan going here, and so it shouldn't take long. We just want to make sure there's no excess moisture trapped in our bulbs. I like that the table is on rollers and casters. Oh no, this is nice. And it's $80. And it has the matching piece to go with it. A bust, $5.25. Let's go down this way. Ooh, look at this blue and white chair. OMG, look at this blue and white chair. I love blue and white. $4.50. You can't sit on the furniture. So, we'll let that be because you can't even test it out. I love this blue and white sofa. $1,400. They got some books and things over here in this store right here. More like antique kids, toys, and things of that nature. A nice tinsel tree. Now look at this round table. This is really, really nice. And I like the fact that it's on wheels. It's probably about $1,500. Oh, $5.50.
Alright, I'll meet you guys whenever you're ready. No rush.
This is 100% Chanoosery. Look at all of this blue and white. $1,000 for this one picture right here. Budweiser, how much is this? $3.49. Oh wow, look at this. This booth is always more on the pricier side. $129. I feel like I can find a candelabra that's on the cheaper side. But $129. Inside of this booth. Oh, that is nice. $189. Oh, look at this antique bed. This whole entire like antique couch, antique bed right here. This sold. This is nice. That's really, really nice. I'll back up so you all can see it. That is super nice. Now look at all of this either pewter Wow. Yep, it's pewter. 25 for one bowl. Dessert bowl, $30. This booth. See, the booths are really, really small. Oh, now that is nice. Look at this stand. This is glass on the front and then clear right here. But it looks like it's almost velvet lined. How much is the stand? I don't see a price on the stand. Oh, here we go. $1,295. Now look at this little small table, card table. $5.95. Oh, here's some copper. Oh, baby shoes. This antique mall, like the booths are like really, really small. So sometimes I have to walk through here 3 or 4 times because it's so much just cramped in this small space in order to be able to see everything. Oh, now this is nice. $79. Wilcox International Silver Company Fruit Bowl. Apple pattern. Mid-century. Have the apples on the side. That's really, really nice. Here's another silver set, but I'm not seeing any type of silver like vase. Alright, so our wax is melted. We are going to move over our machine just to be on top of the paper so the wax is not getting on top of my table. And our bulbs look real good. They look dried out. This is what you want to see. You want to see that the top superficial layer is looking at least dry. And so now we can go ahead and dip them over. We're going to start our stock seedlings, and I think I might have enough for 2 trays of stock. And I like to use the humidity domes with the lever on the inside of them, because then that way I can control how much air they get. But I'm only seeing one, so we're just going to go with what I have here. As far as my soil, I use the same type of soil for my flower pots as well as seed starting. If I have a seed starting mix that is specifically made just for seed starting, then I'll use it. But most often, if you look on the back of your flower package, your soil bag, it'll tell you this soil can be used for this. So I use Fertiloom. Really, I use whatever I have on hand. But what I'm using right now, when I bought it, I knew that I could start seeds inside of it. Every year, I love to use stock in containers in one application or the next. And last year, we were heavy on the stock. We did several containers. Some of them were posted, I think all of them were posted on my YouTube page, but stock, whether they are single or double, they make for an absolute gorgeous show, and they're really very easy to start. I find that the problem that most people have when I'm out and I'm talking with people or just in general, what I can see is that when they are starting to stock, they either bury the seed too deep, they started too late, or the temperature is not right. Now, when you're thinking about stock, don't think about the cut flower variety stock. Think about the stock that goes inside of containers, the stock that has the shorter stem. I'm telling you, the possibilities are endless. I mean, you could just make a containers that have the girls and the guys just gagging, okay? I mean, just full out gag, because they're so beautiful and the fragrance is amazing. They're edible. Stock is just that deal. So what I like to do, because I have not been able to find them in individual seed packages for the shorter stock varieties, I just go ahead and I get them in a mix. So we're going to go ahead and just plant them in. Okay, seed packet. So Mathiola incina, fragrant, bright double flowers on well-branched dwarf plants that grow 10 to 16 inches tall. And it's a mix of pastel colors, including pink, purple, rose, and white. A great choice for garden beds and containers in cold winter areas, planting early spring. Where winters are mild, plants set out in early fall will begin to flower in winter or early spring. This has 50 seeds. Sow in cell packs or flats, press into the soil, barely cover, and it needs light to germinate. And you want to keep the temperature 60 to 65, and it germinates in 7 to 21 days, and transplant 8 inches apart. So with my 2 packages that I have here, this should be enough to cover us for our cell packs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 40 count. Okay, so we could do another half, but we're not going to do that because with the stock, in order to have consistent color, what you want to do is you want to do a succession sowing. Now, if you are the type that you do your spring show and then you switch straight over to your summer show, then don't do a succession. But if you're like me and you consistently just plant and plant and plant, and then another thing that I do is I do transitional containers where I will have my spring display that leads right on up effortlessly into the summer. So there is no break in between flowering. And so I've done that before. I've talked about that transitional colors. And I'm telling you, most people will tell you that it is a waste to have a lot of spring flowers in there, but I feel like it's a waste of weather not to have your spring flowers. Now, stock, as far as pricing, with your stock seedlings are going to be one that can be on the more expensive side. So I've been at nurseries where one stock plant, just one is $9.89, $12.13, $15.07. I said, baby, they put that 7 cents in there so they can add up to so many sevens and get a couple more dollars out of there. But a packet of seed, you can find seeds sometimes anywhere from $2 all the way up to $7, $8 a pack. So right now, I'm going to have 80 seedlings if all of them take. I'm going to sow just one seed inside of each one of these trays. If it takes, it takes. If not, it does not. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our soil in there. And we're going to just plant up our stock seedlings and move on to the next event that we have going on. And then also, when you're looking at the time that you are dropping your seeds down in the soil, it's going to depend on when you want your stock seeds to be flowering. When do you want your pansy seeds to be in flower? Because if I wait 6 to 10 weeks before my last frost, guess what? There's not going to be any flowering for me because by that time it's already too late. And for the stock is going to want to grow on in a cooler environment, right? So because I get out there and I start planting containers very early, for those of you that have been following me for quite some time, and even this year, I already got hellebores in my window box. Hellebores already in my window box. We come out in January and I will plant up daffodils every year without fail. So the sooner you get your seeds inside of the containers, inside of your seed sale packs, get them planted up, the sooner you'll have flowers to be able to work with. So then you become your own nursery versus you waiting on the nursery or the garden industry to tell you when you can put those plants out there. No, that's not how this gonna go. I'm going to obtain my seed and I'm going to plant them up. I'm gonna grow them along, and it does not cost much, my friends. And I'm gonna show you how you can do it for little to no money. You do not have to have a ton of money to be able to participate in gardening. So if you are the type that like to look and like to save on the look without spending an arm and a leg and a pinky toe, come on, click subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I post, okay? So come springtime, I don't want to hear, well, why didn't you show? I'm showing you now. So let's get started. So soil. Big bag of Fertiloom. This is what I'm using for my seed starting. And if we turn it on the back, if we go on the back, y'all, it tells you, it talks about the recommendation, sowing seeds, talks about the ingredients, okay? When you're out there buying soil, You have got to get the soil, the flowering soil that best fits your needs. So for me, a lot of times I reuse my soil more often than not. So I know that if I'm buying a fresh bag of soil, I'm going to need it to do what I need it to do. But then I also keep cocoa coir around because I will make my own seed starting mix as well. So I got the cocoa coir, I got some compost, I got some perlite, I got vermiculite. I mean, you just have got to be able to pivot. And again, it does not take much to be able to do this. So this is our soil. So let's go ahead and start our stock seedlings, and then we'll move on to the next task. There is a lot of educational material on the back of this bag, even down to telling you how to plant your plants up. But what I want to focus on right now is strictly the seed sowing. So seed sowing, it talks about how you can use this to sow your seeds. Okay? Now I got to get this sucker back on the floor. Whew. Okay. Now, this is what the seed looks like. So I'll put the rest of these up. Now, for each cell, I like to go in and locate. So like for right here, I have a seed that fell out. That's right there. So I will go ahead and push that into this seed cell right here. But I go around with each seed. And I make sure it's good contact with the soil for every single one. Around that is you could come in and use your water. See, because once you put that water over it, it's going to push it down to the surface. So that's another way that you can do it if you're starting a lot. See, by you just using a sprayer with that soft mist on it, it's going to push your seedling down. Chair looks absolutely horrible, but this is the reality when you have furniture that's meant for indoors outside. So I'm going to show you how I get all of this cleaned up, and if all else fails, then we'll go ahead and take the furniture cleaner to it. Just the first pass, this is what we're looking like now from just the first pass. Here is this one. I thought this was going to be like a quick get in here, vacuum clean these out, but I can definitely tell from the time that we were away from home, it has played its course, and then just being out here in general. So I think if I'm going to do it, I might as well go ahead and do it right. So let me go ahead and vacuum clean this one out and see if this is a situation where we need to just spot clean. Like right here, I feel like I could get away with just spot cleaning, if you will. Let's get this one vacuumed up. that I have all of the cabinets wiped down, we wiped the table down, we pulled the chairs out, I do want to pull the furniture cleaner out because I feel like since I'm doing all of this, I might as well go ahead, give them their first clean of the season. I typically will clean these chairs about twice, maybe a year, because this room, this environment in general inhabits a ton of dust. So that is going to be one of my goals going forward, especially for this new year coming up. I'm going to try to make sure I get out here and dust a little bit more. I know it's another thing that I'm adding to my plate, but in order to make sure I'm not having to do these large deep cleans at one time, this is going to be the way for me to go. This is upholstery cleaner that I used. I just went ahead and pulled out the Bissell Little Green. Here's my supplies that I used on the inside of here. As far as my product, I use Bissell Pro Advanced Clean, Oxy Spot and Stain Removal. I got this in there. But then I also go in and I use the Oxy Clean to help remove stains as well. Now here is the final look. Over on the side here, where we had the heavy staining. Wiped down the table, went ahead and did a dust clean. And I had the fans on the brick because I didn't want it to be too much moisture. Here is this chair over here, and of course they're going to have to dry. I went ahead, I brought the topiary that's going to be on this table. Night and day from when we first started, honey. Dream clean, honey. Got the stains out. Go ahead and do it. I might as well do it because even if I just go in and spot clean, I'm still going to have to put some type of fan on it. So now, in order for these to dry, There's going to be a fan as well as heat in here to heat this room up.